Hi, this is Mark Howell from The Edge, and I'm here tonight with Curtis Fry, and we're doing Curtis's level 14. Holy mackerel, going up the old ladder, right? How you doing,
Yes,
Curtis? How you
I
doing?
am doing good.
So it's we're getting near the top here. You've come along quite quickly, and you've really kind of branched out, haven't you? From what you started out with.
Yes, that was part of my goal was to get into some different stuff than I've typically done and experiment a little bit on the way.
I should mention that Karen is with us due to technical stuff that we don't understand. Rather than shooing her off, she's sitting there in silence and watching. So that's why she's there. So let's take a look at your pictures here because you really have come out from where you were before. Can you see that? Gotta go over here. Do you see that one?
Yes.
Okay. Go ahead. Looks like it's a rodeo.
All right. Decided to go play at a rodeo this last weekend. They have what they call a mutton race at the beginning.
Yeah.
We had a pretty low light level, so I was running low f-stop, a very high ISO, and about an f2.8 to an f4 in between the night on my aperture in order to get the exposure I needed.
Yes.
Uh, this one, it was just the reaction of the two clowns chasing the little boy on the sheep who just seemed to be having a great time, and just, to me, it just kind of has the look of, oh my God, I'm going to hit the ground.
Yeah, that's right. A dirt sandwich being served up.
Yes. And, just the story in it. I know there's noise because of the low light, but I believe the story and the interaction between the people carries over that noise in the picture.
Yeah, I don't think that the viewer. I mean, it's an event picture, so it's not. You're not going to get style points for it. You're going to get style points for what you captured here, and definitely you got the moment, the look on his face. It's priceless, exactly like you said. Has he got a toothpick in his mouth? He's a straw.
It looked that way. He was a character, I could say. I actually got a picture about 2 frames after this where he actually ended up with the face plant. He did go face first into the dirt. He jumped up laughing and had a great time, so
Yeah.
he was a sport.
What do they call them? What is that called?
They call it mutton racing, I think it is.
Oh yeah.
So it's something they do before the real rodeo starts, but
Yeah.
oh God, these kids love it. Watching their interactions, it's fun. So I just think on this one, I was able to capture it without much clutter around it.
Yeah.
There was at an angle where I was lucky I didn't catch any of the audience behind to distract. Even just low enough not even to catch probably any of the signs. So I was really kind of happy with this image and the angle they were moving through the picture.
Yeah, because usually you have a whole ton of stuff in the background, don't you? You get all the signs from all the sponsors and all that sort of stuff going on.
Yeah, and at times, depending on how close they are to them, you could read them real well, and I find that to be distracting.
Yeah.
And it's a hard thing to get past when you're shooting these.
So how fast did you shoot this?
I shot this at 1/500th,
Okay.
f2 3.3, I believe I was at,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
my ISO was 2600.
Yeah, because it got everything except that hand. He really must have been moving that hand along there to get it blurred like that.
Yeah, he was moving along. He actually ended up running over the kid after the kid fell. So
Yeah, that's.
yeah, I do got that little blur in there, and I saw that, and I debated it a while, but I figured with the movement and the situation, I was okay with it.
Yep. I don't think that's it's kind of just a nitpicky thing to when you have when like it's like the bull riders and you have something's out of focus. Well, who cares? As long as you have that action going on there and you're capturing the moment. It's nice to have it, but yeah, this is great. I mean, the look on his face, but they look like they're having as much fun as he is.
Yeah, that's what I kind of liked. I just saw it in between all three. I saw a great story, and having 3 subjects like that actually is a pretty good thing to have.
Yeah, it's wonderful. Okay, we just want to take a look at Curtis Fry's mutton chop rodeo picture here and see what we can do about, well, there's a couple of issues that we identified. Noise was one, and then we wanted to see what we could do to just freshen up the whole picture and make it pop a little bit. So I'm just going to make sure I have a layer, Control J. Never work on your regular one. As a matter of fact, I think what I'm going to do here is just duplicate this image, duplicate, go ahead, and then I'm going to close this one out, so now I'm not even working on the original, and now I've got two layers open here. We're going to use the filter from Nick to find two. We're going to use that to take away our noise that we have in here, and this is because we had low light and we were down low on the f-stops and high on the ISO, so it took some. We picked up some noise on this that we just want to get rid of, and I think that does a pretty good job. Just right straight off where it comes from, so it's that's pretty good. We're going to say okay to that, and now we want to take a look at some other things that we can do with this, and we're going to use on one to do it. So we're just going to bring up on one, and that's under your Windows. If you have on one installed, it's under Windows. There's a drop down that says extensions. Go over here to and click on one, and it'll open up the suite. We're going to use effects. It's going to open up effects, and we're going to use the brushes in here, which are the adjustment brushes, and we're not going to use them too strongly. So let's start out with vibrance. Let's see if we can bring some pop back into the wool and stuff here. So we're going to take the 50, or the opacity back to 50. Take a brush down a little bit. And just go through there. And I hope you can see that. Let me put this up. Let's go to 100 and I'll show you what it's doing. So if we come in here and hit her there, go over here and hit these frills. So that's just putting some color back in there. You don't want to run that. So you know, it would be you'd probably be back here at like 50. And you have to make sure each time that you change a brush, you add a layer to it. So I'm going to take this layer off. It starts with an empty layer, so let's just do details. We'll touch it this way. We'll go with details. Bring up the details in the fur. And then you can just take your detail brush and just take it to the spots that you want to get a little bit of attention to. You don't have to do the whole thing. The fringe here, maybe a little bit on his, bring out the plaid. And that's, I think, about all you want to do here with the details. So make sure plus, put another layer on there. Let's put on some vibrance. And let's see what we can do here. Let's kick this up because we want to bring up his shirt. A little shot on the pants, just bring it up. Shoes. And that's about all we need there, I think. So we'll do another layer. And let's just do Magic Eye. Magic Eye is great for anything that has eyes in it. So you come over here, we're going to get the sheep. Let me see if I can blow the sheep up a little bit, so to speak. So there we got the two of them. I don't know if you can notice it, but he's got a toothpick in his mouth. How cool is that? So get Magic Eye back here. Take this way down. You just want it to fit right in the eye. Up a little bit. Hit that. Hit that. Hit that. Hit that. Let's go over here, see if these guys got anything to do there. Not really. Good for bringing up noses. It works on a lot of different things, but I mean, it really, if you have a full eye, it really works well. So now I think we're just about ready to finish with this one. So let's apply it. Take me around again, but we'll get out of it. So now we're going to take that off. See the changes are fairly subtle, and again, you don't want to be killing this stuff things with adjustments. Don't blast it away. Now, one thing we did talk about was that, you know, the hats, the white hats, drawing attention. You know, where do you look first? The white hats. So for this one, we're going to use another Nick filter, and this time we're going to use Vivesa, which is very good for looking after areas. So we take a control point, and we want to bring it down here. We want to get the attention down here. So we're going to lighten this up a little bit. But the first thing we're going to do, put one out here. I'm going to make it big enough to cover him. Actually, I'm going to make it big enough to cover them all. So if I look at this, that's what the mask looks like right now. So now if I put another one on his face, zoom tool doesn't seem to want to work. There we go. I'll put one on his face, and I want to just take it down so we just kind of get them two faces there. And to do that, we move this over, just expand it just a bit. Come over here, brightness. Bring the brightness up a little bit. Bring the structure up, and that keeps the structure in there. And then we want to take care of these two guys' hats. So we're going to go over here and hit this one. Bring it down. We're just trying to get the hat. Pretty good. Take some brightness off of it. You don't want to make it look dirty, but you just don't want it to be the brightest thing in the picture. We duplicate this. And then bring it over to this fella. Just a little bit. That's maybe a little bit too much. Just enough to take the whiteness off there. Then I think that's pretty good. So we'll say OK. And it comes back here. So if we take this off, see we have the bright hats. Now, one thing you might want to do, his hat went kind of white. Come over to your dodge and burn. Take your burn tool. Just take it down. Bring your brush up. Make it solid. solid. Let me just come over there and brush that back in a little bit. There we go. I don't like that because I get outside the hat, so I'm going to go to history. I'm going to go back to, I'm going to increase him up so you can see what I'm doing. Take the brush size down. That's better. Okay, so I think we've done what we want to do on this one. So if we just take a picture here, and we should be able to go back up here to where we started, and then down here to where we are now. So that's where we started. This is where we are now. It's subtle, but it makes a big difference in the making the picture pop. So that's that one. That worked out quite well. And then the other one was the cowboy. Steampunk, go ahead.
All right. I play around with strobes, off-camera flash, with the strobist group a couple of times a year. And we had an event with a steampunk type event. The criteria for the event was to use only one flash without any modifiers, and it was shot at 8:30 at night. So I basically went with a harsh light and, just a little bit harsh of an image when I photographed this.
Okay.
What I liked, I brought her up in front, which is not typical, with leading lines, and I kind of used the columns behind her as kind of elements leading past her to pull you back into the picture.
Yep.
I like the setup of the repeating elements, and I usually take them up front and put them back. And since I was experimenting with lighting, I just decided tonight, let's experiment with the placement of the person and the leading lines being behind her.
Yeah, I think the whole thing works. It's not overcluttered. It's just it's a portrait sort of thing. It's just, I think maybe the light was just a little harsh on her face.
Yeah, it was a bit harsh.
Yeah, I think that's all. But I mean, that's the learning process, right? That's what you're learning, right?
Yeah, and actually I have one that's softer, and I just kind of liked a little bit of the harsher shot on this, just with it being the steampunk. And on my screen, she appeared to be a little bit, just a little bit darker, but she turned out okay.
Yeah, it's just, and the leg down here.
Yep.
You could probably tone that down a little bit.
It's probably brighter than the rest. It's going to pull your eye down there before you get up to her face.
Yeah, and you see where it looks like the light came right across the post.
Yep, I see it.
And caught that leg, and probably this thing here too.
Yep, I agree.
It does come up, and that's the only thing I would say is just fiddle with the light to get her just down a little bit.
Yeah, I took a little bit of it down. I apparently missed that part. I usually catch that, but
yeah,
good catch.
That's what I'm here for.
I have to go back and fix that.
Okay. Back over here. Okay. That's a beautiful,
right.
Beautiful picture.
Was down at the beach photographing the black skimmers, and this is not a black skimmer. It is a royal tern. It had caught a fish while it's out diving in the water, and it caught my attention when they started their screaming. When they're getting ready to mate, they usually pick up a fish, they'll fly around and scream a bit, let the mate know that they got one and they're looking for a mate.
Okay.
So at this time, she was about the second loop around with the tern coming in, They moved pretty fast, so I got a blur in the background. And had a person in the background, which I really debated on cloning out. But considering how close the people are and how used the birds are with them, I decided to leave them in. I don't know if that was good or bad, but I just decided to try that.
Well, I think the only time you get yourself in trouble there is if you were going into a competition and you were entering in as nature.
Yep.
You wouldn't be able to have that person in there.
Gotcha.
It's, you know, if you have nature, you have to have nature. You can't have a person standing in the background.
Yep, I agree.
I mean, but as a portrait of the bird, it's like you said, it's in its environment. They're all over the place.
Yeah, so that's kind of what this one was. You know, catching the fish nice and sharp and the eye sharp with the blur and how fast it goes. I was fairly happy.
Yeah, wonderful detail. Got the catch light. Even got the low points on the tail back here.
Yeah, I got lucky on that.
Yeah. And the wingtip edge here.
Yep.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. It's very sullen that you get all that stuff in there, particularly this tip back here, because, you know, to get that in focus from front to back. So what did you shoot it with?
I shot this at 5.6. I was running ISO 200 on this, and I believe my 150th was my shutter speed.
And what lens were you using?
I was using my 200 to 400 handheld. I always shoot that handheld when I'm photographing birds in flight.
Yeah.
I just find I get more free movement with that lens doing that.
Yeah.
And I shot it at 5.6. The 200 to 400 seems to be a bit sharper if I keep it towards that wide open f4 in that area.
Yeah, most of them are.
So I usually shoot it down towards the bottom.
Yeah, great detail. It's a wonderful bird. Look at, I mean, even the little specks up here on the top of the top of the black part here. Don't know what it is, but you know, you can see the different tones in the eye. So how far is this bird away from you?
That bird is probably about 20 feet.
Okay.
So I don't have a whole lot of crop in that.
Yeah. That's great. That's a great picture.
Yeah, I just find if I just sit on the beach and I stay quiet, they'll just come right up to you and not even worry about you.
Yeah, we have them here, and it's the same thing. They don't. The only time they pay attention to you is whenever you happen to get too close to where they have a nest, and then they'll all go after you.
Yep, exactly.
So, great.
Okay, this is another shot at the rodeo. This was the calf roping. Here, you know, watch them. I always pictured when they was doing the calf roping that when they stopped, you know, they actually kind of hopped off kind of gracefully.
No.
You know, and just the action of the horse stopping, the guy looking like he's jumping off backwards, the cow running away with the rope just around his neck and everything getting ready. You know, I just really like the interaction there with those of the cowboy jumping off the horse.
Yeah, you got the dirt flying, and still keep the detail in it. This is one rodeo event I do not like, personally do not like.
I'm not wild about it when they grab them and, you know, the poor little calf isn't quite ready for that rope to reach the end.
And then you get them balling, and holy mackerel.
Yeah, they're not quite happy when it gets them.
No.
So on this, I had people in the background, but I figured since I had them and I couldn't quite get rid of them and they were out of focus, just thought I'd let them in there to show the interaction of the people on the outside watching the event.
Oh yeah, I don't think you need to fool with taking people out in an arena event. It does have a lot of noise in it, though, doesn't it?
Yes.
Did you run it through a noise reduction program by any chance?
I think I might have ran this one through a little bit of noise reduction. I mean, and it's got noise. This was getting later and the lines weren't quite as good.
Yeah.
So I had a lot of noise on this one. got to find me a good noise reduction software to help fix that.
When we here, let me. I don't want to. Let's look at the rest of your pictures, and then we'll go. I'll give you the one I use. I just can't remember what the name of it is right now, and I don't want to screw everything up here by going to Photoshop
Yep.
right now. I don't. I think you got. You caught the action, like you said. I wouldn't expect him coming off the horse that way, but I imagine it's because he got it. He lassoed it on the left or the right hand side, so he's got to come off on that side, or he'd lose time going around the horse. So,
Yep.
I mean, I know that's what he's doing. He's coming off on that side because the calf's running out to that side.
Exactly.
Couldn't come off the other side, or you have to go around the horse. So,
Yeah, it just looks like with the way his foot's coming out, he's going to end up going backwards. Like his left foot's going to hit the ground first, and he almost has to turn.
good action shots. So you got 3 feet off the ground here.
Yep.
Of course, he's got it all his feet planted there, so you got your dirt coming up. So the color's good on it. It's just a little bit noisy, and I think that's the only thing I could say about that one.
Yeah, and the horse, eyes actually look like they're kind of wide open, like, oh my God.
But yeah, well, it gets pretty intense there right at that instant.
Yep.
Good job. It's just we'll take a look at the noise reduction one.
All right, thank you.
It's not. It's just something that it just when you get into up to 1-to-1, you really he really doesn't have any detail in it except for the noise.
Exactly. Because that's running shallowed up the field in order to get the action to stop and get the right exposure.
Yeah.
You got to decide what poison you want to take when you shoot these.
Yep, I understand. When we get finished these, let's go back and run this through Photoshop and see what it looks like if we run it through the denoise program.
All right, thank you.
Okay, this is a picture that of the cowboy that Curtis and I were talking about with the noise to it, and you can see the noise. In the calf, the cowboy in the background. So we're just going to, I'm just going to open this into Photoshop. I'm going to duplicate this original. I always do that, so it's image, duplicate, and now you've got 2 copies. Get rid of your original so you don't screw that up. So then make sure you put a layer on, Control J, and now we're going to take a look at doing something about this noise. So we're going to go into filters, and I use the Imagenomics Noiseware 5, and it does a nice job of taking away. Let's go back here and do the default to start with. So if we go in on this, go to 200%, take this up. This is before, and this is after. Before, after, before, after. Now, you can see in the background, before, after. It really doesn't, it smooths out the background. It doesn't do anything because these guys are basically in the background to start with. The cowboy, it just, you got to be careful because we're going to do some other things here to bring some of this stuff back. But it does take down all this noise in the background, so that's kind of what we're looking for. We can take it down a little bit so it's not so severe, But that's essentially the step for taking down the noise. So now if we take this off, we have that. We put it on. It softens it up. Now, one thing that I want to mention: if you look in the background here, there's a lot of detail in the dirt and the stuff that's going on here that you kind of lose when you have the anti-noise on. So we're going to put a mask on there, and we're going to take our paintbrush, and then we're going to just take and bring some of this back. You just make sure you're on the right layer, and it doesn't have to be, you know, that fine. You're just trying to get the dirt, so you get some detail in there. Okay, so that's taking care of that. So now the next thing we want to do is take a look at what we can do about maybe putting a little bit of oomph into this picture. So we're going to take it into on one. So I'm going to go over here at Windows, Extensions, on one, Perfect Effects 9. So we're going to look now at just touching this up a little. So we go into the adjustment brushes, and I think the first thing we want to do maybe is go in here and take a look at this this cow. See if there's anything we can do there. So let's just take a little bit of a detail brush. Let's take it back down to about 50%. Take the size down and just give them a little brush. That will bring that out over here on the horse, just on, you don't have to do the whole thing, and that kind of gives the shading and stuff that you want to get into. Just where you have these you know, these dark spots where there's ripples of muscles and things like that, this works really well. Take it up a little bit. You can adjust these up and down to change the shading and more intensity in there. I don't think we need any more detailing on that, so we're going to add another layer. We're going to go in and do the let's do a little bit of vibrance, and I want to do that on his shirt. Again, we're at 60%, and you want to, you know, it's not critical that you're inside the lines on everything you do, but it just, you never know where it's going to show up as a ghost or something here. So you want to just be careful when you go outside the lines. And again, it doesn't have to be the details. You're just drawing some attention to some stuff that you wouldn't normally see. So that's good. Now we got his hat. Maybe we should take a little bit. No, I'm gonna leave that. We go shadows, toothbrush for warmth, contrast. I don't think we need to put a little bit of contrast on it, maybe on the horse. If it'll let us do that. Sometimes it gets a little hung up. Okay, we'll just take this contrast brush and just see if we can get a little more detail in there. I'd like to take a little more off this shine on his face. I think that's about all we need to do here with this guy. So let's apply this. And let's go over here to history. Take a picture here. See what it looked like when we started out. And these are subtle things. You're not going to see a whole huge amount of difference. And this is where we ended up. So you can see the that's where we started. So where we ended. So I think it makes it you know, we brought up some things. The only other thing that I tend to do is go into Nick Collection, Perfect Effects 4. We don't want this, it's all soft focus. See what glamour glow looks like on it. Stronger glow. Strong glow. Just a little bit. Yeah. Depends on what you want to do with the picture, but. Is one of these things where now you're into the, you know, kind of the art of the picture. I don't think that looks bad. I'm going to keep that. That's my goal on that one. So we're going to get this thing to come up here. So we'll take a look at it again. Take another camera shot. So this is where we started. And this is where we've gotten to. Take it back out to 100%. So where we started and where we ended off. So I think that's pretty good. I think that's put a layer on here now. We'll just see what happens when we put a little bit of sharpening on it. Control J. Going to do a filter, other, high pass. That I don't take my high pass any more higher than about 3. I know there are some people that take it to, you know, 10 or 15 or whatever, but I honestly don't take it that high, especially when I got some sharp stuff here with. So let's just try. That's 1. So we'll do OK. Change this to linear light. You see it's way over sharpened. So we're going to come up here to the opacity. Take the opacity down to about 50%. See what that looks like. No halos or anything. I think that's still a little bit too heavy. Just subtle. Okay, so we're going to file, save as, save the PDF file. My pictures. Save. And that's about it. I saved the PDF. It's already at 1327. I think you probably, I don't know, I take them to image size to 1024, 768. It depends on what your native size is, but I think after you get above this, you kind of are losing. You're not getting any advantage by having huge 2,000, width in there. So we're just going to file. We're going to save as. Change this to a JPEG. Save it. Save it. And that's about it. So Curtis, we're back to you. Tell me about your dilemma in this one.
On this one, my dilemma when I put this in is typically with birds, you don't clip off their wings.
Exactly.
Put up the picture. This actually is a full frame shot.
Okay.
I did no cropping or that on this one. He was coming in close, was fishing, and it just caught the fish. And I kept it in because I like the shape of the wings. It creates a V.
Yeah.
Takes me right down to the beak, right down to the fish where the action is.
Yeah.
So, and I don't mind it being a little bit short on the left, giving them the leading line to get out of the picture, because I think it adds a little bit of tension to the picture.
Well, and you got you get your water drops on the right hand side, so that kind of fills the space up there.
Yeah.
My thought off the top would be that if you're adding this image to a portfolio, that this is not the image you want to put in there.
Yeah, and I would agree.
I think it's a beautiful picture. I agree with you about the V and the leading, kind of leads right down to his beak. But there are some, pretty set rules about, what you need to have in a good bird picture, and particularly a portfolio level bird picture. And I'm not sure that expert something like this, you don't want people talking about why'd you cut off the wings.
Exactly, and I've seen that plenty of times. So, yeah, this is not something I'd put in the portfolio.
Okay, because you did say you intended to put it that you wanted to add to your portfolio.
Yeah, I was thinking of putting it in, but I agree. I mean, clipping the wings, I agree, is not a good thing, and that was my dilemma.
Yeah, I think it's just another. You just have to find another shot to go in.
Yeah, and I got plenty of them with the fish in their mouth.
Yeah.
And they've got the whole wing, and it's at the right angle. This was just a unique angle.
Yep. And again, like all your bird stuff, you got the details in the feathers, catch light, detail on the fish. I can even see the fish's little eye here. So water spots. You've got it all. I just think that the, as you recognize, it's interesting, but I don't think it's one that you want to put on display for. So let's wrap this up. Again, excellent pictures. Onesies and twosies that you need to look after. We'll look at this noise program and see how that works. And I don't think there's anything that you need to redo there. You might. No, I don't think there's anything that really you benefit with it. I think your selection was good. I'm glad you included that one with the wings cut off, because I really do think that it's important when you want to put something together that shows the best of what you're doing. It should be the best of what you're doing. So, all right, my friend, we're going to go stop the broadcast here, and then we can chitter chatter after this. Okay.
All right, sounds good.